Oliver Hyde's on the phone in on BBC Radio Wales, and I would love to hear from you this lunchtime if you or someone in your family has experience of maternal mental health issues, whether during or after pregnancy. 1 in 4 women would experience a mental illness, either while they're expecting or within the first year of giving birth. And the charity, Mothers for Mothers, are looking for women across Wales to get in touch and share their experiences. So if you do want to join in, it's 03700 100 110, text 81012. Maria Viner is the Chief Executive of Mothers for Mothers and is on the line. Afternoon, Maria.
Afternoon, Ollie.
And you came to this, didn't you, after pretty torrid few years of your own. Just set the scene then of what you went through and when it occurred to you that this was something that needed fighting for.
So I guess, like many women, the journey to motherhood for me was difficult. And my first son was born just after term, and he was ill immediately from birth and taken to NICU, special care for babies. And one day later, he died in my arms. So obviously that was a really devastating time for myself and for my family. But I was lucky I went on to have 2 more children. But during my pregnancies with them, I was really anxious. I was so worried about the same thing happening again. And after they were born, that turned into a deep depression. And with my daughter, I had maternal OCD, post-traumatic stress disorder, birth trauma, a whole host of maternal mental health issues. And I was ill for a good few years. And I really struggled to access the support that I needed. And I had suicidal ideation to the point where I was making plans, but my life was saved by a charity called Mothers for Mothers. And I, had support for them for about 4 years altogether, and they did absolutely save my life and change the course of my life for me and for my living children. And I went back to my pre-children job after recovering from my mental health issues, but felt I really needed to be doing something to make a difference and to give back for the care that I had, which was why I ended up sort of like in the position I am now, working for the charity.
And coming to this conversation and seeing it framed as perinatal mental health, which covers the term of pregnancy and the 12 months after birth, doesn't it? I was surprised. I think many will be surprised to learn about the degree to which expectant mothers suffer from mental health issues. I think your anxiety, perfectly understandable with your second and third children. But I mean, how common is it to suffer mental health issues during pregnancy?
Yeah, as you said at the beginning, Ollie, it's around a quarter of women, 25%, who have a mental health need or an emotional well-being need during their pregnancy or after their babies have been born. And there are it's estimated around about 90,000 women and birthing people in the UK who don't meet the criteria for NHS specialist perinatal mental health services. So they are trying to find services to meet their needs elsewhere, and they really struggle to do that. And in the words of one of our clients that we supported, she said without our service, she would have continued to fall through the cracks, too ill for one service and not ill enough for another.
Yeah, and I think about experience with my wife and with our 2 children, and I certainly recall the health visitor coming frequently after the arrival of the girls, and I'm sure that they were looking for signs of whatever. I don't recall much contact, though, during pregnancy, other than the scans. I don't know who would have been looking out for signs of anything. I don't know if anyone was reaching out at that point. Are you watched? Are you looked after, Maria, or is it up to you and up to the woman during pregnancy to go and look for help if they think they need it?
There are risk assessments that are done by healthcare professionals, but we don't know if they are always done. The Royal College of Midwives stated in a report a couple of years ago that they felt that up to 70% of women hide or underplay their symptoms. In our organisation, we would counter that with, if you create a safe space for people to be able to disclose what they're feeling and how deep those emotions are for them, they're able to do that. I think there's still a lot of stigma attached to maternal mental health and a lot of fear around making disclosures.
Because you're expected to be dreadful word, glowing and
Yes.
excited and everything like that. And I can only imagine the pressure that puts on you if you are actually thinking, I'm worried about this, and I can fully understand that. Is that why some women are reluctant to discuss it?
I think so, and I think everyone around you is excited, and you're expected to be excited. And if you're not, it's really difficult to have those conversations. I think that we don't talk about it enough as society, and we are expecting people just everything to be straightforward in terms of pregnancy and birth. And quite often for people it isn't. There are things that are happening in pregnancy that make life really difficult for them. But also there's, we're in a situation with society at the moment where there's lots of other complexities that people are living with. Maybe that's, living with the impact of poverty or living in poor housing or domestic abuse and violence, all sorts of things which make it harder to concentrate on your well-being and keeping your maternal health well during your pregnancy without additional support from other services.
And mental health doesn't always have a why or a wherefore. People look for causes, and people say, you're supposed to be happy, you should be happy. But it is, often without any reason, without any cause. So I'm aware we spend a lot of time talking about antenatal mental health. When it comes to postnatal depression, which is a phrase that we are all familiar with, and in terms of services in Wales, are we getting there, Maria?
I don't think we're really getting there anywhere, but things are a lot better than they were 10 years ago, for sure. There are pockets of excellence, I think, that we could all learn from, but there are still plenty of areas where there are significant gaps. And I think in Wales in particular, you've got one mother and baby unit in Swansea, and that is for people who are, the most ill that they will be, who need to be hospitalised along with their baby. But apart from that, in Wales, there isn't another unit. In other parts of the country, there are units. We're based in Bristol. We have the smallest unit in the country with only 4 beds. In terms of specialist services, they are better than they were, but there's still a lot of investment needed. There's still a lack of perinatal psychiatrists and psychologists, and there's a lack of services. And so that results in the real tip of the iceberg of people meeting the criteria for those specialist services. And as I said, 90,000 women who aren't getting that service and are trying to find a service elsewhere to meet their needs.
And it's probably unfair of me to ask you that question at this point about whether we're getting there, because I think that this is exactly why, isn't it? You are asking for women across Wales to get in touch.
Absolutely. So we're approaching our 45th anniversary of working with families, and we wanted to do something a little bit different to the usual report, which talks about our achievements and everything we've done. We wanted to look a bit more forward. So we've done lots of focus groups locally and to reach out and get experiences from women and birthing people across the rest of the UK. We have a survey which is called the tellusyourtruth survey. We want to collate those experiences. We're going to be taking that report to the House of Commons on the 24th of February, and we're hoping that it will be used to influence decision makers and to improve funding for services for families and to standardise the pathways. So we haven't got standardised pathways in England or across the rest of the UK at all at the moment. It's really important that that happens, but also there to be flexibility in those pathways, so there's personalised care for what people really need and when they need it, because we can't just carry on having this dependence on a postcode lottery, because the health of mothers and babies is too important for that. It's essential for a thriving society, and we really, really do want to capture the voices of women in Wales, because we're sure there's places in Wales where this work is being done absolutely brilliantly and we can all learn from it, but we're also sure there's going to be places where women just can't find the service they need, and we need to shine a light on those gaps and make sure something's done about it.
Lovely. So just a reminder, if people want to find it online, the survey is called Tell Us.
It's Tell Us Your Truth.
There you go.
They go to our website, which is www.mothersformothers.co.uk. They'll be able to find the survey on there to complete.
Thank you so much. Maria Viner, Chief Executive of